and welcome to Maker Bell, where I make things that are usually not bells. I have this really pretty veneer dresser that I got for $20. And veneer is when you have a very thin layer of nice expensive wood that usually goes over some ugly cheap wood.
Surprise.
And oh, my goodness,
dresser.
these cats. And it's got some chips in it, so I won't be able to salvage all of the veneer, but I'm going to do my best to keep most of it on the dresser. And I've only flipped one veneer dresser so far, so hopefully it goes well. I learned a lot of things while flipping that one. And for my first magic trick, I'm gonna make the hardware disappear! Then I do all the usual boring things, vacuuming, wiping it all down, hang it upside down to dry, you know, the usual. Okay, so there's a chip on the top, sadly, so I'll have to paint the top, which I'm very disappointed about. I like it when there's natural tops. This drawer has a bunch of chips on it, but this little sun, half sun thing is fine, so I can just sand this down a bit and not paint it. And then this drawer is good, and this other drawer is good, so I'm thinking I'll have two drawers and a sun that's not painted, and then I'll have to paint the rest of the dresser, sadly. I very awkwardly glued down the part of the veneer that is coming off. This is super important because it would probably mess up the paint if it wasn't glued down. And don't worry, I cleaned up all the extra glue before it dried. Would you look at that? My big Java textbook is helpful for once, as it presses down the corners so that the glue sticks the table together. So good! You could also just remove all the veneer, but oh my gosh, it takes forever. This is a video that I took of the first veneer dresser that I flipped, and I only filmed the quick and satisfying part where the veneer was already peeling. It took hours to get the rest of it off. Some ways to make it easier are to use a heat gun, which I didn't have, since the heat can melt the glue, or get a damp towel and leave it on the veneer for a few hours, which actually kind of worked. I actually did have to remove some of the veneer on this dresser. For some reason the back sides of the drawer faces have veneer on them, and the veneer is super chipped. The small drawer was fine, but not the two large ones. It took a while for me to get all the veneer off the first one, but I mastered my strategy and the second drawer went a lot better. I'm using a putty knife to pry up the veneer. It's super important to wear some kind of work gloves while doing this, or else your hands will get all scratched up. Eye protection is also good. I wear glasses and they kept any splinters from shooting up into my eyes. The wood under this veneer is actually really pretty, which surprised me. The wood under the last one I was working on was really ugly. I later sanded the area to get off any remaining scraps of veneer. I'm using a different kind of wood filler this time. I'm using this 2-part putty mixture where I mix some goo from this big jar together with some goo from this little squeeze bottle, and it's supposed to be much stronger than the wood filler that I usually use. I chose this since the dresser has some larger chips that I need to fill. The usual wood filler tends to crack if it's used to fill larger spaces. I'm doing this outside since it needs to be done in a very well ventilated area, and I wear disposable gloves to keep my hands safe. I cover up all the chips with the goo mixture. It doesn't matter if I put too much on since it can be sanded off. The next day I start sanding. I scuff sand the whole dresser, alternating between my electric sander and hand sanding. I'm really careful with the parts of the veneer that I want to keep since it's possible to sand through the veneer and ruin it. I try to sand all of the stain off to get to the natural wood. I clean off all the dust and tape over the little sun so that it won't get any paint on it. Then I prime the whole dresser to make sure that the paint sticks and to keep the wood stain from bleeding through. I start painting on the main color. I'm going with this kind of pastel green. I bought the green for this other dresser that I flipped, and this quart of paint is enough to paint 3 or 4 dressers, so I had a bunch left. I wanted to do a fun color for this dresser, and I was stuck between metallic blue, cobalt blue, and the green that I went with. Which one would you choose? Let me know in the comments. I'm gonna take off the tape, are you ready? This better be good and not terrible. Oh no. The tape is stuck on so well. Ooh, I'll just have to touch up the edges a little bit, but it's looking pretty good. Nice. Yay! Okay, I'm just gonna paint over some of the edges or like sand some and just get it all beautiful looking. I do 3 coats of polyacrylic and film the first one because you can really see a difference when the wood is covered. It gets a richer color to it. These 2 colors kind of remind me of key lime pie, and I think I'm gonna embrace that. This is my key lime pie dresser. After everything dries, I add the hardware back on. I'm using the original drawer pulls, and I didn't actually alter them other than cleaning them with soap and water. I think they look pretty. Well, my key lime pie dresser is all finished. I think it looks adorable. I've got a green shirt to match it. And it cost about $30 for the dresser and materials to flip it, so really not that much at all. I'm planning on selling it for about $200. That would give me a $170 profit, but we'll see if it sells. It's harder to sell these fun colors. I love it, but it's gotta find the right buyer. Look, it's got a little pie crust. It's so cute. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video to appease the algorithm. And check out this video where I make the best meal. It's so good, I promise. And check out this video where I make another thing. Thanks for watching. Bye!